time for part 2 of our Abu Dhabi cricket fiesta. Yes, not for the first time in this tournament, we've got a double header at the same venue. We had an afternoon game between Bangladesh and South Africa that saw a convincing win for South Africa. And now it's time for game 2 on the same surface at the same ground between Pakistan and Namibia. This is match number 31 out of 42. It is from group number 2 in the Super 12 stage. Here we are. Welcome again to Cricbuzz Live. I'm Gautam Bhimani in the company of Joy Bhattacharjya and Simon Doull. Simon, first up, let's give everyone the toss news. Pakistan have won the toss and they've decided to do the less favoured option. They want to put runs on the board rather than the comfort of chasing.
Yeah, and I think they want to give themselves every opportunity to get a big score. I think that's what it's all about. Make sure that everybody gets a bat, perhaps. They won't be taking Namibia lightly, but just in case at some stage, in the semi-final, they lose the toss and have to bat first, they want to know what it's like. So I can understand the reasoning behind it. You guess that's the sole reason behind it. Test themselves with a ball that may be slightly wet. We saw England last night. There's a lot of dew in Sharjah last night, so they may want to test themselves with a ball that might be slightly damp as well later in the piece.
Yeah, that could well be one of the rationales for it. But obviously, for doing that, for testing yourself, even against a team like Namibia, Joy, you want those few extra runs on the board. You don't want a situation that anything untoward happens.
Absolutely. Though you have to say that Namibia's strong suit so far has been their bowling. I mean, all the left-handers, and they bowled 4 left-handers last time. They're there. They've taken away shots. They must have looked at this pitch and slavered because, Trumpelman was one of the few guys who got some shape the last time around that they played. And I think all their bowlers are looking at saying, can we get in early into these guys? So I think if Namibia had won the toss, they would have fielded. It works for them as well. I think it's an interesting side in that sense that, if they think that, get Pakistan early, the ball's definitely doing a bit. If they take a couple of wickets, they have a chance because, they have a little bit of experience. The batting is not that great. But in T20 matches, even 2 or 3 decent batsmen can get you across the line if the situation's like that.
Yeah, you saw the changes for them. Pakistan unchanged, but Chikongo coming in for Namibia in the bowling department. They've left out the left-arm spinner in Schultz. And Stephen Bard comes in to open the batting. We had heard a lot about him before the tournament, Simon. Our first opportunity to get a look at him against top opposition.
Yeah, and that's the key, isn't it? For all of these guys, it's about playing against good top-class opposition. And that's why you test yourselves. It's why you want to perform on this stage. It's why you go through all the qualifications. And I know that Pierre de Bruin and the coaching staff, Albie Morkel, they'll be very, very pleased with where Namibia are at. Their big game in the group was against Scotland. And that's not being rude to them. That's basically that's their biggest competition. They want to beat all the other nations that they had to qualify with. So that was their big game in the group. And these other ones are a test. They are a massive test. They would love to knock a big side over. And, is it possible? Well, you'd say it's probably 95% not possible because Pakistan are just playing brilliant cricket and they are the better team walking onto the park. But you have to find out. You have to find out for your own peace of mind. How would we stack up against Shaheen Shah Afridi? What is it like to face Haris Rauf at 150 Ks? Because when we saw some of those initial stages of the qualifying tournament, some of the teams were bombarded with a little bit of extra pace and they were found wanting at times. So you want to know. You want to find out what it's like to bowl to Babar Azam, what it's like to bowl to Rizwan, what it's like to face these guys as well. So this is a test. It's one they need to look forward to and find out how good they are.
Yeah, first up, it's their bowlers who will be put to the test. But Joy, there was a time a few years ago when we used to say we have no idea which Pakistan is going to turn up. So far, they've got out on the same side of the bed every single time they walked out.
Yeah, there's 2 things to it. I think there's a certain amount of calmness to it. And in many ways, Pakistan cricket has been really, it's been hammered. I mean, look at that side. I mean, Pakistan playing as the same side 3 matches in a row, 4 matches in a row is not something that you're used to. By now, 3 selectors should have made controversial statements. 2 ex-players should have said somebody else should be captain. None of that is happening. And I think 2 reasons for that. One is that being away from the IPL is a slight that Pakistan you can make it out. It's something that they really, really hurt that their top players don't play in the best stage. But that also means that a lot of Indians haven't seen their top players, which worked really well for them when they played against us. But the second part to it, which I think is also, for whatever reasons, and we all know this whole security brouhaha that happened, people pulling out has, united a team, saying that, what, nobody wants to play with us. We'll go there, we'll go and play with them and show them what we can do. And I think that also, in a certain way, has united them in a way that many other things haven't. And this is a very different Pakistani side. It's not a cocky Pakistani side. Pakistani side used to be cocky, the Miandads, and how they used to come across. This is a much calmer side. It reflects the personality of their captain, who's a calm, thoughtful person. And it's also a side with stars, with star players who are not stars otherwise. If you understand the difference. Yeah, really good players, but they're not stars, and that's very good for them, actually.
Yeah, they've had 3 run chases, Simon, in this tournament so far. And I remember after their third one, I was trying to put all in perspective. And I said the first one was calm against India. Second one was calculated because they just found the right way to win against New Zealand. And the third one was chaotic because it needed Asif Ali to sort of almost rescue them. So they've been tested in all departments of the world. I wonder if there's another C, because today it's not a chase. It's going to be setting a score.
And what are they looking for? What's the C they're looking for today? Crucifying the bowling attack, maybe?
Fair enough. That's probably it.
They'll look to make a statement. They will look to make a statement batting first. That. But this is not a terrible bowling attack. This is a good bowling attack that Namibia have got. And we've said that, that it has been their best part of their game. It's been their strength. They've got a couple of decent batsmen, but the bowling has probably been their best part of their attack. So, for the likes of Rizwan and Babar at the top, they have to be a little bit, here's another C for you, circumspect to start with, and then look to calculate and be more aggressive along the way. So I think they'll be relatively calm up front, and then they'll progress from there.
Once Simon gets onto these, he doesn't let go. Trust me. I remember your pitch report, Dooley, in the Caribbean, when he just got it into his head that he wanted to get a theme for it. What was the movie theme it was?
We had a movie theme, but then we had a Matchbox 20. It was match number 20. Yes, so it was the band called Matchbox 20, and I managed to get 5 Matchbox 20 song titles into one pitch report.
Yeah, so 5 song titles into one pitch report. Today he's got all the C words going, and let's see if we can continue the theme for Pakistan setting a total. But the one C word that we had to eliminate today was from South Africa. We won't even say what the word is, but they came across twice against Sri Lanka in their previous game when they eliminated it. Today, they could almost have got there when they lost early wickets in a very small run chase. They didn't, but what that match will do is Pakistan will walk out having watched that match saying, we're playing on the same surface. A team has been just bowled out for under 90. How will they judge a par total?
I think this is as good a pitch as Namibia can have to bowl at. And I think it's brave of Pakistan to bat first, because this is not all that bad in attack, but the ball was really doing so much. I mean, if you see how much movement Tuscan was getting back into the right-handers, there was substantial movement out there. Rabada got substantial movement out there. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen right up front, and that's a big danger for them. That if 2 or 3 wickets go down early, how does Pakistan approach their target? They could still say, I mean, if you look at this team, they could turn around and say that if these guys can get wickets up front, even 140 should be a very, very good total. But it requires a lot of calmness to set a total of 140 and say, this is going to be enough. Because something in your belly tells you that isn't right. 140 can't be enough. 135 can't be enough. But, if they are in a situation like that, they should just look at it and said, with the kind of bowlers we have, if this pitch is doing anything, Namibia is not going to get close to 140.
Well, yesterday, when I was on Combox with Michael Vaughan and England were 47 for 3 at the 10 over mark, Butler was there, and out of form Morgan was there. He found his form after the 10th over. Michael Vaughan said, listen, I'm happy with 125. Let them just scratch their way to 125. It will be enough. The pitch is not quite what we think. And the fact that they got 163 was a bonus. Butler admitted it. Morgan admitted it. And it's one of those things they'll have to assess as they go on. But obviously, they'll be looking at the previous game and trying to assess that. But yeah, it's just about telling yourself that first 6 overs, power play. What can we do in the power play? Rizwan, Babar, they've gone hard. They'll continue to do that.
They will. I have a point of view on this, and I actually don't agree with what the Pakistan team is trying to do, because I think trying things like, let's bat first to see whether we bat first well or something, these are done better. These are much better done in practice matches, not in tournaments. Because, suppose, it's a very unlikely circumstance. Suppose they're 37 for 5 and, something happens. And even if they win the match, you're basically giving your batsman an opportunity to get scarred, to worry a little bit and say, look, this pitch was not great. What if the pitches are like this? You lose a bit of form, you get out embarrassingly. So all I'm saying is, if I was Pakistan, I would have just bowled first and put this matter to bed. Don't experiment during live matches. There are practice matches for that. The nets are there for that. I know the nets are not ideal, but you don't practice, or you don't say, let me try all situations in a game. I'm not a huge person in favor of that, especially halfway through a World Cup tournament.
That is a differing point of view on that. We probably know why they're batting first and wanting to test themselves. But the numbers we saw there, apart from what we saw in the afternoon today, Simon, the change in Abu Dhabi from being the place you want to be to bat to being the place you want to be as a bowler.
Yeah, it'll depend tonight, won't it? I mean, we know that the groundsman had to leave a little bit more grass on the surface purely and simply because he had 2 games in one day. We haven't seen that since the preliminary stages of the tournament. So he possibly felt that he just needed to leave that little bit of extra grass so that he got through 2 games, and it wasn't just becoming a slow turning surface. He wanted some runs. Now, I think what you saw from that South Africa game was there were runs available. It wasn't an 85 pitch. It was probably a 135, 140 type surface. And if Pakistan play well tonight, I mean, they could well and truly get 170, 180. There's no denying that they have the ability and the power to do that. If they take it a little bit casually, then, yeah, I think they could find themselves getting undone and maybe having to work their way to a score, which I don't imagine they'll be very happy with. But if they play sensibly and play well on the surface, I don't think there's real demons in it. There was just some pace and some bounce, which they won't mind. Bubba does not mind the pace and the bounce. Rizwan has no issue with it either. Perhaps that middle order might be a little bit susceptible to some pace and bounce. But at 130 to 135, you shouldn't be too worried about it.
And especially, we go on about it, but it has been the situation where Pakistan bowling has been coming to the party. They've found it as their strength, and they know they can just put something on the board and defend it. Of course, at the start, it was all about Shaheen Shah Afridi, but then he can't do it alone. Haris Rauf came in there, bowled a ball quicker or the same speed as Anrik Nokia, and suddenly everyone stood up and took notice, Simon.
Yeah, it was right on. He hit Martin Guptill too on the toes in that first game against New Zealand, didn't he? And I saw Martin on the field the other night, and I said to him, was it the foot with 5 or the foot with 2? And he said, unfortunately, it was right on the bone of the most important one on the foot with 2. So it was very sore. It basically just crushed right on the top of the. So if you imagine that's your big toe, and that's your neck, the one next to it. Right on the side of that there was where it hit Martin Guptill, and he's lost all these 3. You see, these are all gone for those that don't know. He lost those in a forklift accident at a very young age and completely had to learn how to walk again. So, he was very uncomfortable and was talking about, he said, yeah, it got the one with 2. So.
But, I mean, you can think of teams would have one seriously quick bowler. But when you know that you're trying to deal with one, maybe the swing of Shaheen Shah Afridi and the angle for the left-hander, and then comes Haris Rauf bustling in. And obviously he's bowled at different times, Joy. First match against India, we didn't see him till the 10th over. And then we're seeing him now bowl in different times of the innings.
Yeah, I think that's Pakistan has used their bowlers very well. Firstly, again, I think South Africa and Pakistan, I mean, I know England is very good, but I still feel South Africa and Pakistan have the best attacks in terms of total roundedness, in terms of everything that they give you. And see, Haris Rauf against a lesser side may be used to blow away batsmen early. You get a couple of wickets, blow away batsmen, or come right at the end and bowl really fast at tail-enders. You'll use him in very different ways. Against capable batsmen on pitches that, set batsman, you probably will not bowl him in the middle overs. So it really depends on how you want to use him. But they've used their fast bowlers well in that sense. And I think, again, they'll deploy. If they get a couple of early wickets in, expect them to try and really bowl them out, use the top bowlers and bowl them out. Because, again, moment you come to an associate side, one of the things you'll see is they're not used to facing 150 plus. We saw even Bangladesh was not. Moment you got the Bangladesh tailenders in, Nokia just blew them away. And that's something that they will do if they get this opportunity to get into the middle of the Namibian team. So that's going to happen. And they've used him well. They've used Afridi well. And it's now just a matter of seeing that, it's a very well-gelled side. Let's hope they keep the shape that they need to do to make this tournament a long run.
The other thing Joy also referred to earlier, Simon, was how they've stuck with their side. I mean, yes, RAUF was good, Afridi was good. It was very easy for them to get rid of Hassan Ali. Didn't have a great first game. They could have said, okay, he's leaking a few runs. He's not quite our first choice. We've got somebody waiting in the wings. But they stuck with him.
Yeah, well, when you've got a Fahim Ashraf or Hassan Ali to choose from, it becomes a little bit dependent on how they feel on any given day as well. I like Hassan Ali as a cricketer. I think he's a 100% type cricketer. Every sort of side needs one of those type of guys. Tonight might be his type of pitch. It might be that, just hit a nice line, hit a nice length type of pitch at that mid 130s and create a lot of havoc. He seems to ball both ways. He's a very good cricketer. And again, go back to Joy's point, it's very unfamiliar territory, isn't it? One bad performance, gone. Next man. Look, we'll have a look at this guy. But this is a very solid, very steady, very calculated and calm Pakistan team. So I like what they're doing. I really do. Are they going to have a slip up? We always expect it, but this might be, it might be the change. The change might be now. It might be a Pakistan side that doesn't have that slip up and they go all the way.
Now, normally this is the time on the show when we're all very reluctantly making predictions because we generally don't know what the surface is playing like. In a double header, when you've already seen 40 overs or maybe a little less than 40 been played in the afternoon, same place, same venue, we can make more of a calculated guess, shall we say. But it's a different side. Pakistan playing an associate nation, same surface that has seen only about 160 runs in 33 overs. So, Simon, are you going to go first on this one?
Colossal. There'll be some catastrophic bowling figures. I'm going for 213.
Oh, wow.
I say. It's just because he wanted to justify the use of the words that he got in there. Well done, Simon. Come on, Joy. Score and a word with C to accompany it.
I will go momentous, meaningful.
No, with C.
172.
It has to be with C.
I can't. I missed my chance. I'll say characteristic.
Fair enough. Characteristic.
Congenial.
No, characteristic was good. That was perfect. That's much more. Yeah. So I'm going, call it careful or conservative, but I'm going for a little bit less. They're going to try for the 213. I suspect they will come across a couple of good bowlers in Namibia, and they'll have to settle for 151. 151, Ooh. Which they'll still defend it very easily, okay. But 151 is what I'm going for. All right. So there we have it. Colossal, characteristic, or conservative. Who's going to win? There you go. We've set a tone for the day. That's all we have from another C. That, of course, stands for Cricbuzz. This is Cricbuzz Live. We'll see you soon on Cricbuzz Combox. See you.